Now, it is 6 o'clock. Actually, it's 1 minute after 6. So with that having been said, I'd like to call to order this meeting of the Macon-Bibb County Commission for Tuesday, March the 17th. And welcome everybody here that is watching online, and to say that we appreciate your attendance and we appreciate your bearing with us in these times where we are trying to abide by the recommendations of the President of the United States and the Governor of the state of Georgia for reducing the size of public gatherings to no more than 10 people. And to socially distance yourselves even in small groups to help avoid the spread of COVID-19. So again, welcome to those who are tuning into this by Facebook or our web page. We appreciate you being here, and I understand the press has been notified of this simultaneous broadcast of this for their purpose and to meet the intention of the Open Meetings Act. With that having been said, I would like, again, to call us to order and to start with a Pledge of Allegiance. So I'll stand here, and if you want to join in with me as we say the Pledge of Allegiance, I'll do that. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. These are interesting times in which we live, but again, we're going to do everything that we can to continue to deliver essential services to our community while we at the same time combat the spread of the COVID-19 virus and keep it away from our more vulnerable members of our population. We have a lot of information to give to commissioners for them to spread out and pass out, hand out to members of their constituencies, and that's available through the clerk's office, handouts, cards, and this, that, other, to tell people what they're hearing over and over and over about social distancing, hygiene, and staying away from more vulnerable members of our population. With that having been said, we'll go immediately now, having established the fact that we've got a quorum of commissioners calling in. We'll go to the first item of business, which is a change to commission procedures. And again, I'll ask the county attorney to come over and answer any follow-up questions there are. This is to authorize us to have these teleconference meetings so that commissioners call in as opposed to being here physically, even without a quorum being here at Government Center, and to simulcast this and conduct official meetings. So County Attorney, how about take my seat and see if there are any questions?
All right. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And just so y'all can hear me better this time, what this resolution does is allow what we're doing now, which is to have a open meeting that everybody can call in and have a teleconference, and at the same time have both the public and the press have a simultaneous access through our webcast to that meeting. And that is authorized by both the Georgia Constitution and the Open Meetings Act under conditions like this, which is a state of emergency. It complies with the Open Records Act, and the press and the public are listening and do have access to the meeting as if they were sitting in the audience. And obviously the commissioners can all hear each other speak, and you can act on regular business as you've already done. So any questions about the details of the resolution otherwise? Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
The Committee of the Whole recommends approval. Is there further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the resolution signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. The ayes have it. The resolution is adopted. The next item on the agenda, you're looking at me. I'm looking at the clerk. Did I miss something?
We didn't have to read it by caption. We're fine.
Okay. Right. We read it a little early in the meeting. So, yeah, this is the resolution establishing the commission meeting procedures for the foreseeable future in response to the COVID-19 pandemic. So that item, that resolution having been adopted, we'll go next to the approval of the minutes. The minutes of our pre-commission meeting and regular commission meeting for March the 3rd have been distributed. Are there any changes, corrections, or additions that need to be made? Hearing none, can I get a motion to approve the minutes as prepared?
So moved.
Win.
Schlesinger and Lucas. Got a motion by Schlesinger to approve the minutes. Second by Wynn. I'm sorry. Second by Commissioner Wynn. All in favor of approval of those minutes signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. The ayes have it. The minutes are approved. That takes us to reports from our standing committees. Operations and Finance Committee first. Chairman Watkins, are you still there with us, and can you give us that report, please, sir?
I am here, but would it be fine if the clerk read the minutes just for simplicity?
Okay.
The clerk will read the minutes in their entirety, please.
Will you turn it on? Thank you. The Operations and Finance Committee met on March 10th, 2020 and took the following actions. The following items were approved: an agreement with Cox Communication for cable and internet services, an agreement with Advanced Disposal Services for household garbage and recycling, a change to the code to repeal the requirements that applicants must obtain an occupational tax certification in order to receive a temporary alcohol license, the acceptance of a Criminal Justice Coordinating Council 2019 Violence Against Women Act grant in the amount of $50,000. The following supplemental appropriations were approved: from Lake Tobesopsky Recreation Area fund balance in the amount of $64,000 to fund startup costs and utilities for the Sandy Beach Water Park, from fund balance in the amount of $33,100 to the general fund commissionary line item, and $33,100 from Sheriff Commissary Fund balance to Sheriff Department to provide for the cost of the Sheriff's surveillance cameras. The following transfer of funds were approved: $845,000 from salary and wages in the Sheriff's Office to overtime in the Sheriff's Office, and $1,050,000 from full-time health insurance and pension line items into overtime line item. And this concludes the report of the Operation and Finance Committee.
Thank you, Janice, for doing that. Next is the report of the Economic and Community Development Committee. Chairman Lucas, are you there, and can you give us that report?
Yes, thank you. The Economic and Community Development Committee met on March the 10th, 2020, and took the following action. The committee approved the following appointments and reappointments. Jean Bragg and Martha Carter were reappointed to the Keep Macon-Bibb Beautiful Board, and Paul Brunson was appointed as a new member. Michael Jameson was appointed to the Fort Hawkins Board. Monica Swain was appointed to the River Edge Board. Grace Guyton was appointed to the Department of Behavioral Health Board. Dr. Charles Callender was appointed to the Urban Development Authority. Donald E. Banks Jr. was reappointed to the Sheriff's Civil Service Board. And Narinda Bajwag and Charlotte Woody were reappointed to the Division A Pension Plan. And this concludes the report of the Economic and Community Development Committee.
Thank you, Chairman Lucas. No report from the Public Safety Committee, no report from Facilities and Engineering. So that takes us then to the consent agenda. There are two items for our approval tonight. The first, both of them accompanied by all of the requisite information from the Sheriff's Office, Business Development Services, Planning and Zoning, the Engineer's Office, and the certification from the Telegraph that the appropriate ad ran in the paper. The first is for Niche 385 LLP, doing business as Niche 385 at 385 2nd Street. for liquor, mixed drinks, beer and wine consumed on the premise at that location. The second license application is by Ryan Smith on behalf of the Lazy Susan Tapas Bar LLC, doing business as Lazy Susan Tapas Bar. It's at 428 2nd Street, and it also is for liquor, mixed drinks, beer, and wine consumed on the premise at that location. The Committee of the Whole heard these applications and recommends approval. Is there further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the issuance of those two license applications signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. The ayes have it. Those two licenses will be issued as requested. Next, we get to old business, and the first is an appointment to the Keep Macon-Bibb Beautiful Commission. I'll ask the clerk to read that by caption.
A resolution of the Macon-Bibb County Commission reappointing Jean M. Bragg to the Keep Macon-Bibb Beautiful Board and for other lawful purposes.
Economic and Community Development Committee recommends approval. Is there further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the resolution signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. The ayes have it. The resolution is adopted. Next is a new appointment to the Keep Macon-Bibb Beautiful Commission, and Keep Macon-Bibb Beautiful Board, and I'll ask the clerk to read that by caption.
A resolution of the Macon-Bibb County Commission appointing Paul W. Bronson to the Keep Macon-Bibb Beautiful Board and for other lawful purposes.
The Economic and Community Development Committee recommends approval. Is there further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the resolution signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. The ayes have it. The resolution is adopted. Next is a reappointment to the Keep Macon-Bibb Beautiful Board, and I'll ask the clerk to read that by caption.
A resolution of the Macon-Bibb County Commission reappointing Martha Carter to the Keep Macon-Bibb Beautiful Board and for other lawful purposes.
The Economic and Community Development Committee recommends approval. Is there further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the resolution signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. The ayes have it. The resolution is adopted. Item D is an appointment to the Fort Hawkins Board, and I'll ask the clerk to read that by caption.
A resolution of the Macon-Bibb County Commission appointing Michael Jameson Jr. to the Fort Hawkins Board and for other lawful purposes.
Economic and Community Development Committee recommends approval. Is there further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the resolution signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. The ayes have it. The resolution is adopted. Next is an appointment to the River Edge Behavioral Health Community Service Board, and I'll ask the clerk to read that by caption.
A resolution of the Macon-Bibb County Commission appointing Monica A. Swain to the Board of Directors of the River Edge Behavioral Health Community Service Board and for other lawful purposes.
Economic and Community Development Committee recommends approval. Is there further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the resolution signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. The ayes have it. The resolution is adopted. Next is an appointment to the Region 2 Department of Behavioral Health and Developmental Disabilities Advisory Board, and I'll ask the clerk to read that by caption.
A resolution of the Macon-Bibb County Commission appointing Grace Guyton to the Region 2 Department of Behavioral Health and Developmental Disability Advisory Board and for other purposes.
Economic and Community Development Committee recommends approval. Is there further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the resolution signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. The ayes have it. The resolution is adopted. Next is an appointment to the Urban Development Authority for the unexpired term of Rick Hutto, and I'll ask the clerk to read that by caption.
A resolution of the Macon-Bibb County Commission to appoint Charles W. Callender to serve as a member of the Macon-Bibb County Urban Development Authority and for other purposes.
Economic and Community Development Committee recommends approval. Is there further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the resolution signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. The ayes have it. The resolution is adopted. Next is a reappointment to the Sheriff's Civil Service Board, and I'll ask the clerk to read that by caption.
A resolution of the Macon-Bibb County Commission to confirm the reappointment of Donald E. Banks, Jr. to the Bibb County Civil Service Board and for other lawful purposes.
Economic and Community Development Committee recommends approval. Is there further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the resolution signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. The ayes have it, the resolution is adopted. Next are a couple of companion resolutions to make appointments to the Macon Pension and Retirement System Division A plan, and I'll ask the clerk to read them by caption.
A resolution of the Macon-Bibb County Commission reappointing Narendra Badwa to serve as a member of the Retirement Board for the Macon Pension and Retirement Systems Division A plan and for other lawful purposes.
Economic and Community Development Committee recommends approval. All in favor of the resolution signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. The ayes have it, the resolution is adopted. The companion resolution now, please, Madam Clerk.
A resolution of the Macon-Bibb County Commission reappointing Charlotte Woody to serve as a member of the Retirement Board for the Macon Pension and Retirement Systems Division A plan and for other lawful purposes.
Economic and Community Development Committee recommends approval. Is there further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the resolution signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. The ayes have it, the resolution is adopted. Next is a resolution to approve a contract with Advanced Disposal Services for collection of household garbage. I'll ask the clerk to read that by caption.
A resolution of the Macon-Bibb County Commission authorizing the mayor to execute an agreement with Advanced Disposal Services Macon LLC for the collection of household garbage and recycling throughout Macon-Bibb County for a term of up to 9 years for an estimated cost of $6,073,080 per year, payable from the solid waste budget, residential solid waste and recyclable collection service line item, and to further provide for the purchase of household collection carts owned by Macon-Bibb County and management of collection cart inventory and for other lawful purposes.
Operations and Finance Committee recommends approval. Is there further discussion? Hearing none.
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
Commissioner Wynn?
Commissioner Wynn, go ahead.
Yes, sir. I'm in favor of this contract. I just had a question because I had a discussion with Dr. Moffitt about ADS and possibly them taking over the yard debris pickup. And for an extra $3 per person or per household, we could do that. I think that their bill went down $1.05, you said, from what we had before in the contract. If we went up to another $2 or $2.50, whatever it would be to cover that extra pickup, the main thing we're having concerns about, or I have calls about, are yard debris. And since ADS apparently is handling the garbage and the recycling very well with carts being taken care of, I'd like to see if we could consider adding the part of the yard debris to their contract too, if that's a possibility.
I think that would always be a possibility on the renewal times. I think that speaking from the administration standpoint, we didn't want to get completely out of the garbage and yard debris waste collection. So we were going to use the money from the carts to buy additional trucks and to employ additional personnel to help address the very situation that you're talking about, complaints about yard debris and pickup and bulky waste and illegal dumping. I think we needed to continue to do those things, which is why we are recommending the version that selects advanced disposal only for household garbage and recycling. But I think you could always have the discussion that you're talking about at annual intervals when you go to renew the contract.
Okay, I know we're renewing it for 5 years and then 2 additional 2-year terms.
That is correct, but I think I'll ask the county attorney to confirm this for me, but I think at the end of any calendar year, you can give notice in advance to amend the contract either by agreement or to terminate it.
That's correct. You can give them 60 days notice prior to a renewal period, at which point you can either renegotiate or terminate it.
So I would hope, Commissioner Wynn, that would give you the opportunity to address that at some point in the future, and we can go ahead and approve this contract tonight.
Yes, sir. Okay, thank you.
Absolutely. Is there further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the resolution signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no.
Virgil votes no.
Got one no. And
Votes no.
Bivens votes no, so it got one no, but the ayes.
No. Mr. Mayor.
Yes.
Commissioner Watkins, are you voting no?
That is correct.
And Commissioner Bivens, are you voting no?
That's right.
So we have 2 noes.
So that'd be 6-2.
Yes, sir.
Six to two. The ayes have it, and the resolution is adopted. Next is an ordinance to allow merchants to get a local alcohol license prior to the certificate of occupancy being issued, so that they can start work on their state license. And I'll ask the clerk to read that by caption.
An ordinance of the Macon-Bibb County Commission to amend Section 4-58 of the inaugural Code of Ordinances for Macon-Bibb County to repeal the requirement that applicants must obtain an occupational tax certificate in order to receive a temporary alcohol license, to provide for the refund of certain temporary alcohol license fees, and to provide for other lawful purposes.
The Operations and Finance Committee recommends approval. Is there further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the ordinance signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. The ordinance is adopted. Next is a Criminal Justice Coordination Council grant for violence against women, and I'll ask the clerk to read that by caption.
A resolution of the Macon-Bibb County Commission authorizing the acceptance of a Criminal Justice Coordinating Council 2019 Violence Against Women Act grant in the amount of $50,000, requiring matching funds in the amount of $16,667 to be paid from the general fund and for other lawful purposes.
The Operations and Finance Committee recommends approval. Is there further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the resolution signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. The resolution is adopted. Next is an ordinance to pay various expenses out of the Lake Tobosoffke Recreation Area Fund balance, and I'll ask the clerk to read that by caption.
An ordinance of the Macon-Bibb County Commission to approve a supplemental appropriation from Lake Tobosoffke Recreational Area Fund balance in the amount of $64,000 to various line items within Lake Tobosoffke to fund startup costs and utilities at the Sandy Beach Water Park and for other lawful purposes.
The Operations and Finance Committee recommends approval. Is there further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the ordinance signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no.
No.
I think I've got 2 noes again. I think I've got 2 noes again, Lucas and Wynn. But that would be,
Correct.
I'm sorry.
A roll call.
Got a request for a roll call, so let's go down the line. Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Allen, how do you vote?
Yes.
Commissioner Bivens, how do you vote?
Yes.
Commissioner Jones, how do you vote? Commissioner Lucas, how do you vote?
No.
Commissioner Schlesinger, how do you vote?
Yes.
Commissioner Tillman, how do you vote?
Yes.
Commissioner Watkins, how do you vote?
Yes.
Commissioner Wynn, how do you vote?
No.
5-2.
Got 5-2, no vote from Jones. So by 5-2, the ayes have it, and the ordinance is adopted. Next is an ordinance to pay various. Say again, Commissioner Lucas.
Are there 6 votes required?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am, 5. We had Allen, Bivens, Schlesinger, Tillman, and Watkins.
Just checking.
Five votes is all that's required for an ordinance or resolution. So we got about
checking.
5 to 3. Well, I'm sorry, 5 to 2. Jones didn't vote. 5 to 2. Next, item O is an ordinance to approve a supplemental appropriation for the sheriff's camera surveillance, and I'll ask the clerk to read that by caption.
An ordinance of the Macon-Bibb County Commission to approve a supplemental appropriation from fund balance in the amount of $33,100 to the general fund, transfers to other funds, commissary line item, and $33,100 from the sheriff's commissary fund balance to sheriff department contract labor, contractual services line item, to provide for the sharing of cost, which is a total of $66,200, for the sheriff's surveillance camera program and for other lawful purposes.
Operations and Finance Committee recommends approval. Is there further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the ordinance signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. The ayes have it. The ordinance is adopted. Next is a transfer within the sheriff's.
Jones is here.
What?
Welcome back, Commissioner Jones.
Oh, good. Jones is back. All right. Item P.
Hear everything. And I voted yes on the last motion.
Okay. Item P is an ordinance to move money around within the sheriff's budget between salaries and overtime, and we'll have a similar ordinance next from the fire department. But the clerk will read by caption item P, the ordinance for the sheriff's office.
An ordinance of the Macon-Bibb County Commission to amend the Bibb County Sheriff's Office budget by transferring $845,000 from salary and wages full-time to various overtime line items within the Sheriff's Office to fund overtime costs using savings from budgeted vacancies and for other lawful purposes.
The Operations and Finance Committee recommends approval. Is there further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the ordinance signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. The ayes have it. The ordinance is adopted. Companion ordinance doing the same thing for the fire department. I ask the clerk to read by caption.
An ordinance of the Macon-Bibb County Commission to amend the fire department budget by transferring a combined $1,050,000 from salaries, full-time, health insurance, and pension line items into the salaries overtime line item to fund overtime costs using savings from budgeted vacancies and for other lawful purposes.
Operations and Finance Committee recommends approval. Is there further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the ordinance signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. The ayes have it. The ordinance is adopted. Next is a resolution to approve a contract with Schneider Electric Buildings for energy savings, and I'll ask the clerk to read that by caption.
A resolution of the Macon-Bibb County Commission authorizing the mayor to execute a guaranteed energy saving performance contract with Schneider Electric Buildings Americas, Inc. in the amount of $23,477,463 payable from Series 2020 bond funds and our 2018 SPLOST funds for the completion of energy-saving capital improvements throughout various Macon-Bibb County-owned facilities and utility systems and for other lawful purposes.
Committee of the Whole recommends approval. Is there further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the resolution signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. The ayes have it. The resolution is adopted. Finally, item S on our agenda was referred back to committee for further debate. That's the one about governmental policies and procedures manual changes for an alternate work policy. That'll be back to committee of the whole for further consideration. Next item is new business, and there are several items of new business. The first is a resolution approving and authorizing a closure of a portion of Dannenberg Avenue for the purpose of accommodating new development in the area. I'm going to refer that to the Facilities and Engineering Committee. Next is a resolution approving and authorizing a closure of a portion of Chestnut Street Lane for the purpose of accommodating new development in the area. I'm going to refer that to the Facilities and Engineering Committee. Next is a resolution authorizing and approving a closure of a portion of Chestnut Street for the purpose of accommodating new development in the area. I'm going to refer that to the Facilities and Engineering Committee. Next is a resolution authorizing the mayor to execute a purchase and sales agreement with North America Fire Equipment Company Incorporated, NAFCO, in the amount of $118,783.35 for the purchase of V-Force turnout gear to be paid out of the 2018 SPLOST funds for Public Safety Fire Department upgrade line item. I'm going to refer that to the Operations and Finance Committee. Item E is a resolution authorizing the mayor to execute a purchase and sales agreement with All Star Arenas LLC for the purchase of a Zamboni 546 ice resurfacer in the amount of $152,267.05 to be paid from 2018 SPLOST funds for Culture and Recreation Coliseum line item. I'm going to refer that to the Operations and Finance Committee. Item F is a resolution to approve the terms of a professional services agreement with Agape Tennis Academy LLC for exclusive tennis and pickleball professional services at all Macon-Bibb County tennis centers, and a lease agreement for the pro shops located at all Macon-Bibb County tennis centers in exchange for fees paid to the county as described herein. I'm going to refer that to the Operations and Finance Committee. That's all of the new business that has been prepared and ready for tonight. We've reached the end of our agenda, and since there are no members of the public here, there are no public members of the public want to address us on on non-agenda items. Therefore, can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
So, without objection, we are adjourned.
All right.
Thank you. Good night.